Sean, only Man City have beaten Arsenal at the Emirates in the Premier League this season. Newcastle and Brentford, the other two that have taken a point away from the Emirates. So how different is the test you're facing down there compared to your first game in charge here?
Well, we'll see, but I mean, they're having a fine season, that's for sure. You know, they're being very creative home and away, but particularly at home, you know, and they've proved they're a force to be reckoned with. We know that. So yeah, we've got to go down and be ready for that, but also give a performance ourselves like we did at home. Not as easy. In some ways, the crowd were fantastic at home and made it a real sort of dominant feel to our performance as well as the actual performance. Won't have that away, but we want the mentality to be there for our performance.
What positive news can you give us about Dominic Calvert-Lewin at the minute, if any?
Oh no, he's recovering.
Any time scale yet?
No.
You can understand why the question keeps being asked though, because obviously we look at goals scored and it's not probably where you would like it to be at the minute.
No, but I mean, that's been a theme of the season, so there's lots of work to be done. The team mentality has to be that we're all allowed to score. You know, it's not just one player. Because I asked that of them defensively to keep clean sheets, and it starts from the front with the front players working hard for the team. So therefore, it's only fair to ask it the other way around. You know, the players have got to take responsibility as a group, as we all do, in making enough chances and taking chances. And I thought, since we've been here, the stats have been better for getting bodies in the box, better for entries into the box. Hopefully, still looking to find even increase the quality of chance, but I think it's fair to say we've been more productive in that area. But the clinical moment is the truth of the matter. You know, finding that finish, finding that, and sometimes, you know, it's not always the purest. You know, you can find a goal of, you know, a scruffy one. You know, it sometimes releases the pressure of scoring. The other thing that I've said to the players, I said, don't forget, for all the noise you're not scoring, well, it only increases your chances statistically of scoring. Well, because, you know, it doesn't go on forever. You look at any team, they have spells when they score goals, and if it's dried up for a while, then every game that goes by, it increases your chances that you do start scoring. So, you know, stats and facts of football, the ebbs and flows of it all, I've seen it all. So, you know, I think that's an important factor to remember.
What was it that you can maybe instill in this group of players that enhances their chances of finding that killer instinct in front of goal more regularly?
Well, I mean, it's work on the training ground. Some of the stats of football, you know, entries into the box, quality, of course, being the key entry into the box, not just putting it in there for the sake of it. Different ways of affecting the opposition. You know, you're trying to work as a manager and with the players on as many different things that you think can be active for you in the box, of course. While keeping the other box quiet, quite obviously. You know, you've got to do the work at both ends, and you know, that's one of my many obsessions of football is both ends of the pitch, because it's the middle bit we can all debate styles and brands and all the rest of it, but you've got to be clinical in both boxes, and I think that's where we've got to tidy up. You know, pretty much in one couple of mistakes on Saturday, but generally a pretty solid performance defensively and opening up the opposition. You know, that's as big a part of it, and that's the bit we've got to improve, quite obviously.
Have you seen the penalty again from the weekend? What are your thoughts now?
Yeah, I think, you know, if you get them, you're happy. If it goes against you, you're not happy. It's a soft one, but we see soft ones given all the time. So, you know, he gets a contact with the ball, he gets a slight contact on the player's knee. The player's kind of in that fall in motion already, I think. So, but look, it's given, and that's the way it goes. As long as we get one back, you know, if that happens the same, then that's parity.
One of those where if the ref doesn't give it, then VAR probably doesn't overturn it.
Yeah, but that's ifs and ands, you know, pots and pans and all that. We could debate everything after the event.
But the reason I asked that was because it seems that when Everton go a goal behind, it's a struggle to get back into the game. I think Man City, obviously, Demarai Gray scores a great goal. It's an equaliser. I think the only time before that this season was at home against Nottingham Forest as well. So what are you working against? It feels like there's a big hurdle to overcome in terms of the mindset as regards that. Is that unfair? Or?
Well, no, I've only been here 4 games, so you know we're doing a lot of work. So you can't change everything immediately, but we're hoping to build a mentality where that ability to come back in games, because that's part of it. You know, you can't dominate and win every game, and you can't go in front in every game. So that mentality, a shift in that mentality, rather, if you do go down. Away mentality, you know, general mentality. You know, we're trying to improve everything, but it's difficult to improve it all with instant reaction, instant effects. Sorry. So yeah, it's a work in progress. But of course, we want the players to remind themselves. You go down, you're still in the game. And I thought we did. I got to be honest. I thought we did Saturday. I thought the reactions going, you know, really soft goal. The first one particularly more frustrating for me because it's from a simple set-up position that we got wrong, or the penalty, what led to the penalty. And I thought the reaction was good. You know, back on the front foot, no disappointment, getting on with it, taking the game on again. We created chances after that. Still a dominant kind of feel in spells when we were pushing, and we conceded a second soft goal. More on the break. So that can happen sometimes. But I thought their action was good to that, to try and get back in the game.
Just check another couple of bits of team news. Any chance James Garner, Nathan Patterson for this game?
Well, they've been out a while, so they both need games, and Jimmy's going well. He's getting fitter and stronger. There's another game this week, so I'd probably get him in that one. And then you're saying, well, after three-ish months out, that's he should be classed as being fit, if you like. But he's going well. Pato's just a bit behind that, so he'll need a bit more than that.
Is James someone who can add to that goal threat from midfield?
Well, he certainly strikes. No, he certainly strikes a good ball. He's pretty new to the Premier League, obviously, but had a very strong season last season at Forest.
Sean, I know you've spoken at length previously about the importance of goals and how they can change the flow of games. With that in mind, then, reflecting on Villa at the weekend, was the overriding emotion one of frustration because you were getting balls into the box, or was there a sense that you can see an improvement and it's a building?
I think a bit of everything, but mainly, you can only work on training and with the analytics and all the different things you try and put in the performance. You want to see it. You want to see it taking shape. Then I'd certainly saw that. You obviously don't want to concede, quite obviously, but the way the team was trying to create things, the energy to get in the box, the desire to get in the box, the numbers of bodies getting in the box, the entries into the box, these are all good signs. Of course, they've got to lead to something. Now it's about the consistency of the values of the team to continue doing that, because over time that will pay you back. It didn't pay you back at the weekend, but it will over time. And that's what you're working towards. So, I think the belief in that and the continued application to do that, and then the moments of quality, of course, on top of that. But so there are good signs of that. We didn't get a result that we wanted, of course, but there was good signs of the general performance and how we want to try and move the team forwards.
Is that the challenge for you right now in this position, getting that message across the players? Because I know, speaking to you at Burnley, that you're a big believer in your analytics and percentages and what can be achieved. But if you're a team like Everton at the moment that have been fighting against the current a little bit for most of the season, it can be difficult to get it.
Yeah, but that's the challenge. The players know that. They know that we haven't been scoring freely all season, and we've got to adapt and change and ask as many questions of the opposition as possible. And I think we are beginning to do that. It's obviously we might well do, but stats and facts over a season would suggest it's tougher to get them high-level stats when you're away at Arsenal and teams like that, and Man City and the likes. But generally, you want to get them stats higher, and I think we've done that so far. And now it's about that consistency to do that. Like I say, we're trying to help the team find different ways of affecting the game. It's different ways of scoring goals, and there's been good signs of that, but without the clinical finish at the end. So we've got to add that in, of course. But no, the players are working very diligently. They know the challenge. They can see the stats and facts. I don't have to remind them of that. But as I said, that if you're not scoring, as long as you're doing the right things will come. They will come your way. You look down the annals of history of football, and if you're getting enough entries of quality in certain areas of the pitch, and you're asking the certain questions, and just the sheer physical amount of attempts, then that will pay you back. But you've got to keep going and doing it. You've got to keep believing that it will pay you back. And of course, the moment of truth when someone gets one of them chances to take it.
And I suppose when you talk about tide turning, you only have to look back a couple of weeks when you get the win here against Arsenal. I suppose when you've got to go back to the Emirates, a short turnaround, that can only help them on the mental side.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a tough place to go. We know that. And, the stats of, I think it's a long-standing thing. Everton haven't done so well there in getting results. But, yeah, again, it's, this is what you want the mentality, as part of your mentality to change that. You got there almost with early years expecting nothing. So that in itself is a nice weapon to have. It's not easy, but you go down there going, well, if everyone expects that you're not going to get anything, well, let's go and get something. So it's, all these mind dynamics of different variances in football. You can look at it each in different ways. But for me, the glass is always, one of them that's half full, not half empty. So that's what I'm looking at. Going down there, giving a performance, seeing where it takes us.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Hi, Sean. Obviously, I remember speaking to you sort of in April last year about Burnley's lack of goals. This isn't something that's new to you, is it, trying to find a solution to this?
No, but it's not easy. It's a simple when we talk about it, but it's not easy to deliver. So like I say, I'm working with a different group of players. The mentality's been good. We've got to ask questions, as I said, and create different ways of affecting games, and that's what we're looking to do. And while we're doing that, not lose sight of the fact that the shape has to still be good. Defensive shape has to still be good. The Premier League's unforgiving at both ends of the pitch. So, we've shown good signs of the development of the side being tighter and more structured, I think, in its defending. And now it's how you can open the door when you're attacking. And certainly, I think if the goals were taken out of the game Saturday, I wouldn't have think we won 2 out of the previous 3, and I think you'd look at the performance and go, yeah, actually, probably slightly, I would suggest a more powerful performance. So, that's how the big moments count. The big clinical moments. That's how important they are to change a performance and people's view of it. Because Saturday was a good performance all round. We didn't score the goals, and we let 2 soft ones in. Got to change that, obviously.
You mentioned in previous answer the away mentality. Everton haven't won an away game since sort of early October. I know that's a lot before your time, but what do you see in the players that maybe needs to change in terms of that mentality?
Well, I think it's going into these games with the belief in what we do, mainly the consistency. The consistency of performance home and away. It's well known, apart from the pandemic season. It's well known that most clubs have a stronger home form. All kinds of scientific reasons, higher testosterone and stuff like that in players from playing at home because of the home crowd and all kinds of different things. So, but at the end of the day, you can still have good away records by structuring the team, by suggesting that, the team have to maybe work in different ways. But mostly the mentality is important. You want players to go down away from home with a strong jaw and a strong mentality to what it's going to offer you. And I think that's something that we've got to build here. And like I say, we're in the early processes of doing that. But having that ability to go away and still deliver on a consistent level and with that edge, because it's important, particularly away from home, to have that edge in your play. At home, the crowd can help give you that edge. But when you're away, you have to bring it in through the collective on the pitch. And I think that's important.
And you said as well you can use it as a weapon when people maybe don't expect, to get anything at Arsenal. Do you ever look at games as a free hit?
No, I don't personally, but what I'm suggesting is not really a weapon. I was suggesting that from the outside, due to the stats and facts, and you're going to Arsenal, they're currently, having a terrific season. Most people would suggest that it's unlikely you get a result. What I'm saying is that can in itself bring a bit more freedom to the group and go, well, if no one thinks you're going to do anything, but that doesn't mean we don't. That means we'll be going down there, certainly with our eyes on the prize and delivering a performance that can get something. So that's the intention from my point of view, and that's what I want the players to do.
Thank you.
Okay. Any further questions in the open section before we move on to the papers? No? Okay. Thank you.